Deep in the lush hills of Puerto Rico, surrounded by thick tropical forests, stood a massive dish, 1,000 feet wide, listening silently to the whispers of the universe. Suspended high above it, a 900-ton steel platform floated in midair, supported only by cables and towering pylons. For nearly 6 decades, this marvel, the Arecibo Observatory, had been humanity's ear to the cosmos. But on December 1st, 2020, everything changed. The cables snapped, the platform fell, and with one devastating crash, an era of discovery came to an end. This is the story of how the world's most powerful radio telescope met its tragic fall, and the mysteries, warnings, and lessons it left behind. The story of Arecibo began in the 1960s, the dawn of the space age. The Cold War was raging, and the United States sought technological supremacy not just on Earth but in space. Built inside a natural limestone sinkhole in Puerto Rico, the Arecibo Telescope was unlike anything the world had ever seen. Its massive 305-meter dish didn't move. Instead, a movable platform above it carried receivers that aimed across the sky. It was the beating heart of radio astronomy. From detecting the first binary pulsar, a discovery that earned a Nobel Prize, to scanning for extraterrestrial signals, Arecibo became legendary. It also measured the rotation of planets, mapped near-Earth asteroids, and sent the first interstellar radio message, the Arecibo message, in 1974, a cosmic greeting to any life that might be listening. It even made appearances in Hollywood, featured in GoldenEye and Contact. But every rise, no matter how grand, leaves shadows behind. By the 2010s, Arecibo was aging. Its structure had survived hurricanes, tropical humidity, and decades of stress. Then in 2017, Hurricane Maria slammed into Puerto Rico, one of the strongest storms ever to hit the island. The observatory took a heavy beating. Metal structures were damaged, cables strained, and corrosion spread silently. Fast forward to August 10th, 2020, one of the auxiliary cables suddenly snapped. It tore through the giant dish, ripping massive holes in its surface panels. Repairs were underway, but before they could even begin properly, tragedy struck again. On November 6, 2020, a main cable broke, one that was never expected to fail. The stress on the remaining cables increased drastically. Scientists and engineers feared the worst, and soon their fears proved right. Experts discovered something never seen before. The cables were suffering from a phenomenon called zinc creep, a slow, internal deformation that weakened them from the inside out. Despite desperate efforts, the U.S. National Science Foundation, NSF, announced that repairing Arecibo would be too dangerous. The plan was to dismantle it carefully, but fate didn't wait. On the morning of December 1st, 2020, just before 8 a.m., the final cables gave way. The 900-ton platform plunged down, slicing through the dish below. Cameras captured the horrifying moment. Steel towers snapped like twigs. The platform smashed into the dish, sending clouds of dust and debris into the air. Miraculously, no one was injured. The site had been evacuated days earlier. But for those who had devoted their lives to it, watching the fall was like losing a piece of humanity itself. In just a few seconds, one of the world's greatest scientific instruments lay in ruins. So, what really caused the collapse? The investigation revealed a combination of aging infrastructure, weather damage, and hidden mechanical failure. Years of corrosion from Puerto Rico's humid climate had weakened the cables. The damage from Hurricane Maria accelerated their decay. Then came the zinc creep, the rare internal sliding of metal within the cable sockets. This process, invisible to the naked eye, slowly ate away at the telescope's strength. When one cable snapped, the remaining ones had to bear more load than they were designed for. Each break made the next one inevitable. Engineers later found that several warning signs had been missed, signs that could have perhaps saved Arecibo if noticed earlier. In the end, nature, time, and human error conspired together to bring down a scientific titan. The fall of Arecibo wasn't just a loss of steel and concrete, it was the loss of a legacy. For nearly 6 decades, Arecibo had been humanity's cosmic microphone, listening to pulsars, quasars, and signals that crossed galaxies. After its collapse, researchers around the world mourned. The scientific community called it the end of an era. Puerto Ricans, too, felt the pain. The observatory was a symbol of pride, a beacon of global importance standing right in their homeland. In 2022, the NSF announced plans to build a new educational and research center at the site. Not another telescope, but a place where future generations could learn from the past. Still, many scientists hope that someday another telescope, stronger, safer, and smarter, will rise again from the same hills where Arecibo once listened to the stars. The Arecibo collapse reminds us of one thing. No matter how great our creations are, nature and time always have the final say. It was a masterpiece of human ingenuity, but also a lesson in humility. Because even as it fell, Arecibo gave us one last message. Every discovery has its cost, and every achievement must be maintained, or it too will fade into silence.